I grew up in the world of metal and punk, in which I still do love. I do feel the need to finally see what the rest of the world has to offer. My name is Aaron, and I grew up as a metalhead. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are doing our next set of songs for 1 Week Club, and this, oddly enough, when I was asking for suggestions on what songs to cover in 1 Week Club for 17, I think almost unanimously, every person was asking for Kidult. I don't know why yet. I haven't found that reason yet. So I'm going to figure that out. I'm pretty interested because that was almost in every single recommendation. And when that happens, usually there's a huge, massive reason behind that. So, yeah, let's check it out, shall we? Cool. Let's do it.
슬픔보다 찬란한 매일 너에게 괜찮은 너의 세상은 지금의 너 그대로 소중하고 또 소중해서 Stay here with me 어려서 깨워서 남긴 뒤에 어린 날같이 올 때도 네 잠들면서 함께 너의 모습 그대로 어린 날처럼 때론 시간을 낭비해봐도 좋아 철이 없다고 할지라도 나는 그런 너의 모습에서 나를 불가는 넌 넘어지는 일도 무섭지 않아 우리 함께라는 눈물이 두렵지 않아 거기 덮여진 이 세상 위로 새하얀 맘을 더 칠해줘 어린애 같은 난 여기 있는데 어디에 숨어버렸을까 슬픔보다 찬란한 매일 너에게 괜찮은 너의 세상은 지금의 너 그대로 소중하고 또 소중해서 Stay here with me 어려서 깨워서 넘긴 뒤에 어린 날같이 올 때에도 네 잠들면서 함께 너의 모습 그대로 어린 날처럼
Great harmonies right here. Strength in numbers. Wow. Interesting. Okay. There's kind of a few things that I actually really want to talk about with this. Kind of an interesting song. Okay. The song is almost a little bit blindsiding a little bit. There's a lot that I want to talk about lyrically, first and foremost, actually. Before we do that, though, written in E major, kind of an interesting little theme, just because I think that it's cool that they wrote it in a major piece, because, if you don't know, a lot of times when songs are written in major, usually that means happy, hopeful, a lot more of the time. As a general rule. It doesn't mean that like something written in a major or minor can't mean something else, but that's just kind of like, you know, the basic kind of rule of law. But I think that this song, to me, has kind of a two faces here. And I think this is the first thing that I want to talk about. I want to go over the lyrics before I say anything else.
괜찮은 너의 세상은 지금의 너 그대로 소중하고 또 소중해서 Stay here with me 어느새 깨워서.
You know, I think it's kind of interesting because they seem to be relating like the relationship between kid and adult that you have in your life, right? Kid and adult. There's some things that just like, I think this is one of those things that when you think back, you know, and you're an adult and you kind of think back to yourself like, I mean, maybe not for everybody. I can't speak for everybody, but you know, I think for a lot of us, there's times when you're like, oh man, like I wish I could go back to the good old days. Wish that I could go back to when we were sitting on that green electric box just one more time with my buddies and go out and hang out on a nice summer day and, you know, do a bonfire and you know, have some s'mores and just talk about what game we're going to play on our Xbox when we get home. You know, I feel like that's kind of part of it. And then there's the part of it when you are thinking about that and you're just like, probably never going to get those days back. And I think that that's part of it. I think there is kind of a romance to it as well. Like kind of them talking about how, you know, you see the person that you're in love with, you're going in your separate directions. And I think that's pretty cool. But I think the one thing that I just really like is just how it starts off and it says, there's a young kid inside of me. And then afterwards it says, today's another difficult day. You and me, we're going in opposite directions. That's kind of what I was talking about. So, calm down. Get inside of me. Today is another difficult day. You know, that in a sense is kind of true because, especially for me, I remember when I was kind of in my mid-teens, the person that I first dated, she decided that she wanted to go to one of the universities far, far away, and we tried to do the long distance relationship, and it just did not work out, and it brought a lot of problems and a lot of pain. And there kind of comes a point where, and there even came a point where, even though we were going well, I was like, I don't know if this is going to last much longer. I don't think that the way that this is going is very sustainable for long term. And obviously there are cases where that does work, but that was not this. I think that is an interesting phrase right there, just in general. Me, who is like a kid, is right here, but where have I hid? To you, in which every day is more brilliant than sadness. It's okay, your world is precious, so precious just as you are right now.
너의 세상은 지금의 너 그대로 소중하고 또 소중해서 Stay here with me 어느덧 깨워서 남긴 뒤에 어린 날같이 올 때도 네 잠들면서 함께 너의 모습 그대로 어른아이처럼.
You know, I've kind of brought this up previously, but this is something that I feel. For me personally, I think one of the things that's actually kind of important about this song is the fact of the matter is that it kind of has this innocence to it. It's like not being afraid to embrace like a romantic side and the innocent side of life. And I think that that's nice because I think sometimes we can be jaded, especially as we get and become adults, and realizing that a lot of times we just don't really allow ourselves to go down some of these paths that we would have as a kid. And I think that they're kind of pointing that out. And, you know, I think that there's kind of a romantic sense to it. And I kind of really like the fact that they are willing to put that out there. I like that.
때론 시간을 낭비해봐도 좋아 철이 없다고 할지라도 나는 그런 너의 모습에서 나를 불건는 넌
Great run.
넘어지는 일도 무섭지 않아 우리 함께라는 눈물이 두렵지 않아 검게 덮여진 이 세상 위로 새하얀 맘을 더 칠해줘
That's so interesting.
난 여기 있는데 어디에 숨어버려.
So, with that being said, I think that the way that this song is written is really interesting because it's written, and let's take out all the technicality for a second. When I listen to this song, the thing that I think is really, really interesting about it is that it has a youthful tone to it, right? Like when I listen to this song, I think to myself like, oh, this is a nice summer bop that you would hear, and it's like really modern sounding, really young feeling, and I think that it's just kind of got this like energy of youthfulness that, you know, sadly disappears over time. But I just have to say that I think that this is actually just a really, really good song. It's really well written, honestly, in a lot of senses. Lyrically speaking, this is one of the cooler lyrically written songs. I think that there's just a lot of relatability behind it, and I like that. I think that's really cool. See, and on this song you can hear that melody that I was talking about, that under melody. There's a guitar that kind of sits below everything. Right here. And I like how he does that, stay here with me. And it's like, stay here with me. And for me personally, I think a lot of times when you think about, in many different ways of writing, usually when you kind of start on the decline and end with a high, usually that's written as a stance of hope. And so I think that that's really cool that you get that, like, it kind of is like, please stay here with me, you know. It gives that urgent hope that you're just like, oh, come on, please. And I really, really like that. So the other thing that I find kind of interesting, this is my own personal, maybe like theory, is that you remember how I was saying that this is kind of could be a dual meaning. I think the dual meaning for me too is that, in a sense, I kind of feel like that the other thing that you could take this away as is almost like someone trying to find their identity. In a lot of senses, like talking about stuff like we resemble each other a lot. Let's be together. And like after I've laughed it off as a kid or as an adult, even when I cry as a young kid, like there's a lot of, and even maybe not even with themselves, maybe there's just a lot of bouncing around with the identity of them, with their partner, and just kind of like where everything fits, and there's kind of like this identity crisis. And you know, I think that the one thing that I will say, if there's nothing else that you can take from it, just know that I think that when it comes to this song, I think that this song is a very mature song. In a lot of senses, one of the more mature songs that I've ever had on the channel. And I think that's really cool. And so I think that this song kind of makes a really special entry. And kind of like a unique way to have this all laid out. And I like that. So aside from that, like I said, youthful tone, written in a major form, like it just has this nice airiness about it, and yet the lyrics itself have this kind of double-sided feel of like, what is the identity, what is the love, what am I trying to understand about you, what am I trying to understand about myself, what about like me reflecting as like a kid and as an adult, and like maybe there's still like that young kid inside of me. And I think that that's it's really deep if you think about it. And I really greatly appreciate that. I think that this is a really, really cool song. I don't know. There's a lot here. Anyway, let me know what y'all think, and we'll discuss this down in the comments below. Thank you. Okay.